What's good, people? SimFBallCritic here, and thank you for stopping by the channel. As you can see, got some Battlefield 4 here in the background for the PS4, and this will play as a backdrop for this video. Now, I'm not going to hold you too long, guys. I know the video is pretty lengthy here, but I'm probably not going to talk as long. Once I'm done, I'll let you continue to enjoy the gameplay if you like. But, just got a different topic here, just doing this video raw, man. No edits here, as you're going to see this full gameplay. No music on this one. Just talk to you guys, man, and just get a gauge of how you guys are feeling and, just try to hear some of your experiences. But as you can see in the title, what is the most enjoyable game? Well, the title actually says, which game gets the most of your attention? So that's really the question. What's the most enjoyable and what game gets the most of your attention on these new consoles for you guys who do have a PS4 or an Xbox One? Now, for me, I would have to say it is Battlefield 4 for me. For me, Battlefield 4 just feels like the most fun. It's the most fun for me. It's the least amount of problems. I'm sure all of these games has their flaws. I can't say I can point out all of the flaws in all of the games that I have, but I'm sure they have flaws, and there's going to be veteran players for all of these games that could easily point out the flaws. But this game just gives me the least amount of trouble, and it's the most enjoyable. I don't have too many server issues with this game. Usually when I'm able to play a game, it's very smooth. I don't get a lot of, I guess you would say, cheesy gameplay or too many cheat tactics. Of course, you do have snipers and guys who just love to camp, but it is what it is. You're going to run into that type of situation with any shooter. But like I said, man, for the most part, this game is just, it gets more of my attention, and it's just the most enjoyable right now. It runs very smooth. Graphics are good. And, most of these games are not too much different, in my opinion, than what they were on, the previous consoles of Xbox 360 and PS3, especially games like Battlefield 4 that were able to come out, on those consoles and now these consoles. Granted, I will say that I think this is a much better version of it. I'm enjoying this way better than what I enjoyed on 360. But like I said, man, these games are all trying to get on this new console and this new generation. So the first year iterations of the games, I wouldn't expect them to be groundbreaking. I think we won't start really seeing that until there's some new games that have only been developed for these consoles, or we start getting into year 2 and 3 of these existing games. But again, I gotta say, I think Battlefield is the one for me, man. It just feels the most complete. It runs the best as far as the smoothness, and again, I don't have as many problems, if any, as what I'm having with some of these other games. We all know about NBA Live. Just to give you my 2 cents on that, I didn't expect NBA Live to compete with NBA 2K14. Not this year. I definitely thought it would be a foundation game, sort of a test run. They will implement some of the things that they want to do in that game. And as far as it being a top-notch game, I expected that it would be another year or 2. But to be honest, man, I didn't expect it to be exactly what it is. It's a very rough game. Very rough game, and at times it's hard to play it at times because it's so rough. Now, I have spent time with that game, and I think there are a lot of good elements in that game. It's just that these things would have to be flushed out a little more, implemented a little better, get the smoothness and the fluidity and things like that, and animation quality. And then you'll start to see some of the benefits in that game. I got to give them credit for, it being a living game. Like we all just saw just a few days ago, they had the jerseys for Miami Heat and the Brooklyn Nets, the nickname jerseys. And that's live. It didn't take them 2 days or 3 days or a week or 2 weeks. That happened right away. And that's something that NBA 2K could borrow from. I will give credit to Live for that. It's always live. Things are changing and things are being implemented right away. And that's a huge benefit that game has. It's becoming a living game. And just a lot of the stuff under the hood that they have in place, I think it will be great. Once that game is able to be a little, just to get a little more polish on it and just get some of those rough edges off. Now, NBA 2K, the game is beautiful. We all know that. Graphically, it is stunning. It's probably one of the best looking next-gen games that we have. Problem with that game is it just has a lot of legacy issues, man. I mean, again, guys, this is not the video for me to lay out every detailed thing or point out every flaw, what have you. It's just me just giving you a quick summary and a quick rundown of how I'm feeling. And that, again, that game just has a lot of legacy issues. You know, there's a lot of problems there, a lot of bugs. It has a huge amount of clipping and morphing. And I know a lot of these games, most of these games are going to have that. You know, it might just be limitations or, again, like I said, maybe developers haven't really figured out how to eliminate things like that. But that game is horrendous in terms of the morphing, and the ball tangibility is like, it's sometime, you know, it's just a lot of problems, man. You guys who play that series, you guys already know what the issues are. I don't have to break them down like that. FIFA is a fun game, you know, but to be honest, soccer really doesn't keep my interest like that, but I think I'm going to spend some more time with it. You know, I have fun every time I pop it in. It's an enjoyable game. You know, the impact engine and the physics and just the way the game flows and the fluidity, to me it feels better than even Madden at this point. You know, it definitely does. You can definitely tell that, you know, that game's a little more polished in terms of like true step and things of that nature. And of course, you know, Madden is borrowing from that technology, so they still got a ways to go. Now, as far as Madden, it's funny, man. You know, my thoughts on that are a little skewed because, you know, with me being a game changer, it's a lot of stuff that I see on the inside, or it's things that I'm aware of that may be coming for the next year, or plans that they have going forward. So it's kind of like I'm torn in between my personal dislikes or dissatisfactions and the things that I know that are coming, if you will. So it's funny. It's kind of funny when I try to rate that game or whatever, because like I've said before, you know, for you guys who listen to the talk show, with a radio show, it's like when you have the answer to certain things, you don't question it as much. You know, like if you say, hey, why is this not there? Why is that not there? When is this coming? When is that coming? And if you know the answer, then you really don't have to ask those questions no more. And that's kind of where I'm at with Madden. But, you know, it's going in the right direction, man. It is doing that. I will say that. But there's still a lot of stuff left to do. There's still a lot of stuff left to do. And, you know, I just look forward to the future, and hopefully that game can get going in the direction that we all want it to be in a lot faster. You know, I expect now that we're on these new consoles with the power and the technology that there should be leaps and bounds each and every year. So, you know, I look forward to Madden 15 to see what comes on the table at that point and going forward. So, you know, I just wrap up with saying, man, it's just, for me, it's Battlefield. Battlefield, to me, is the one that made the cleanest transition, I guess. And like I said, that could be argued, man. It could be argued between Battlefield and FIFA, and just my opinion, I think those two games are the games that keep my interest the most, and they feel the most complete and the most, you know, closest to being next gen, you know, if we're even going to call them that. And again, I think it suffers from being on the previous console. I think all of these games that launched on 360 and PS3 and then turn around and launched on the new consoles are going to suffer just a bit because, you know, developers, they have to develop two games at that point. So I think these next years, you know, this next year, Madden 15 and NBA 2K15 and Live 15 and FIFA 15 and all of those games, I expect to see huge things, and I expect to see, you know, this next-gen technology really get tapped into. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, man. I went a little longer than I expected. Hope you've enjoyed the gameplay, and I'll allow you to continue to enjoy the rest of this gameplay. Like always, let me know what you think.
Hey, 你衣箱来了，快拿去！你衣箱来了，拿好。 箱来了，快去拿好。来了，快点拿好。
Don't forget, guys, every Tuesday night, the Sim Perspective Radio Show, the show for the Sim Gamer. Give us a call at 347-202-0388.